Hey everybody, it's Modesta Muguni from Modesta.Africa. So I'm out here doing this thing, holding my phone up, and I want to do this very quickly. Remember, I had started out a two-part series on negotiation, whether you're negotiating career or business contracts, how to negotiate right from the start, right? But just in case you haven't been able to negotiate right from the start, how to renegotiate terms that really make sense for you, terms that you can now live with. So number one, I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. Number one is ask yourself what you do want out of your career and your business. What do you want? Before you jump into renegotiating the career and business terms that you already entered, ask yourself what you do want. And I don't mean what you want out of this contract. We'll get to that. What you want out of life, period. What is it that you're looking for at the moment? Just so that you can negotiate with that in mind. Not just to say, okay, I'm not happy with what I currently have. Okay, where are you going in life? What is it that you want? What is it you want out of your career and your business so that when you're negotiating, it actually it's moving you towards that end game. And number two is review your current plans and your current goals so that whatever it is you're renegotiating in your career and business terms will meet those goals. If you don't have plans and goals, you need to set them. Otherwise, you're just saying, okay, I'm not happy with that. Okay, what are you happy with? You're not happy with that. And so reviewing them to what terms would make you happier? Is it just a question of reviewing to better? What's better? If it's an amount, do you want an increase? Do you want change terms? Do you want more time? And how much more is better for you? So to know all of that, you have to have existing plans and goals. Look at how quickly I'm moving. Number three, determine what exactly you're not satisfied with. So you're really going through the contract. And I pray for your sake that you have a written contract for your career and business, whatever agreement it is you've entered, you actually have it written down. So go and review word for word. No matter how fine that print, get a magnifying glass if you want to review what the current terms are. And number four, then write down what specifically about the current terms you're not happy with. And so go through with underlining with a pen or highlighting what specifically you're not happy with. Write those down. And the number five, this is really key. Take note of how far your current engagement has already gone. So has the contract been executed 70%? And there's the remaining 30%. So what are you asking to be revised? Have you been paid, 70% of the amount? And that then, or have you been going through this and you're really far with this arrangement? Because then, it might come out very weird that you want to review these terms now, but we're almost done with the contract. We're almost done with this arrangement. So it's really important for you to see how far this current arrangement in your career or business, whatever it is you've negotiated, how far it's already gone, because then you can kind of see the validity of what you're asking to be reviewed, and you can choose then, with prudence and wisdom, understanding if I haven't mentioned that I hadn't been satisfied with these terms, whether it be your career or your business all this time, and we are 70% of the way through, would it come out a little crazy for me to want to review? Not to say that you don't review, is to say now that you have to manage your expectations and you have to think through, which is going to be another point I'll point out, you have to think through what they would then be thinking if you come in a little too late. Let's say, you've signed a career, maybe it's an employment contract, and you're 4 years in and you're saying, I don't like the terms. 4 years later, not to say you cannot renegotiate, but you have to then consider what angle you would come in with that. If it's going to be a business deal, you've executed and you've been paid 70%, and then now you're saying, I'm actually not happy with this. You couldn't have flagged it up through all those payments and all those installments, and you're flagging it up now. So obviously you would have to consider how this would be perceived as you're renegotiating. Not to say there isn't room to renegotiate, but you certainly have to consider the perception of this, whether it's going to be legally or just professionally, of having executed for a very long time and only now coming up with the revised terms, with a proposal for revision. And then number six, review with legal consultation what your current terms, right, the current engagement allows you to do. And so you have a contract, and that contract will probably say, okay, so where there's conflict or where there's misunderstanding, we can go through arbitration, or we this contract will be reviewed under this law, under this clause. So you would want a lawyer to help you go through and say, okay, what does the current arrangement allow? And therefore, under this act, under these terms, under this law, under these guidelines and this practice in the industry, what would be reasonable for me to be able to renegotiate? And so, yes, to be serious, you would need to have a lawyer, and preferably a lawyer that is versed in your area. Review these terms. So that was number 6. Number 7, anticipate your counterpart's position and possible arguments. So, like I said before, if you've been being paid and taking money for this contract for a while, they'll say, why now? Like, is there something not happening on your end? Or if you have worked for such a long time on this contract, and then all of a sudden you're saying, I'm not happy with my job, or I'm not happy with this business deal, it will come out a little bit funny. So try to anticipate. You can do that because you've had experience working with your counterpart. You can do that with legal counsel as well. Try to anticipate what they would be thinking or what they would propose, and then write down what they may have, they may expect, or what they will come back to you with as a rebuttal or a counter proposal. All right, we're moving along fast. Why? Because I'm holding this with my hand. My hand's getting tired. Number 7. Number 7 was anticipate counterpart position, possible arguments. Number 8, prepare formal. One second. Bear with me. I have this written down. It's acting up. Prepare formal arguments, but initiate with appointment of informal conversation. So yes, you're preparing a formal argument of what you would present, a formal legal argument, what you would present regarding your career or this business contract that you had entered, but you're no longer comfortable with and you want to have reviewed. But get an appointment to have an informal conversation. So somebody from that team, from that organization that you have goodwill with, that you've worked well with, consult them and ask them, hey, listen, I'm thinking of reviewing these terms. I'm thinking of changing things up a little bit. What would you recommend? How should I go about it? Even if you have formal terms, do not just send an email with these legal terms and this legal renegotiation of contract. That is going to come out a little too aggressive and confrontational. So book that appointment with somebody, have an initial conversation, an informal conversation with somebody, and ask them, how would I go about this? If I want to have a revision of terms, if I want to renegotiate things, I want to review, where should I start? And then, wait a second, do I have too many numbers? Then number 9, allow the protocols to renegotiate terms. So whatever the protocols are, follow them. So they would tell, okay, so the first thing you do is you send a written whatever and you highlight the terms, whatever it is that they recommend, and of course that your lawyer also recommended, follow those protocols. Don't do anything outside of protocol. Where the contract isn't silent, where it is very clear, it was all written down, you signed up to something that was very legit, something very open, you just haven't liked the terms, you want them reviewed, follow the protocols, follow the procedure for revision of terms. Don't do something, unbecoming. Certainly don't walk away. Number 10, based on the response, right? The response you got from the lawyer, reviewing the terms and what it allows when it comes to renegotiating, revision, or even where a contract has been frustrated and you can no longer continue with it. Based on the conversation, the informal conversation you had with somebody that you know, that you feel comfortable with, that can advise you in that organization, don't rush to make a decision now. Whatever advice you have received, whatever the protocol says, don't rush. Consult again with an expert on whether to continue with the terms as they were before, because it's just not going to work out well for you if you review, or whether you can have them amended and to what extent they can be amended, or whether that is something you would be comfortable with. And then the last thing is, whether you actually will have to terminate this contract because it just seems untenable to you at the moment. So don't make a decision just yet. Whatever it is that you find out, whatever response that you initially get, before you make that decision, oh, well, I'm not going to continue with this, or let me just continue with, how it is. It seems like I have no choice. Or, okay, there's a revision, maybe not to what I want. and of course, if it is exactly what you want, you can proceed with it. But whatever the outcome is, do not rush. Because chances are it was you rushing into this agreement in the very beginning that has gotten you to a place that you feel frustrated and you feel like you cannot continue with the terms. So no matter what comes back, calm down, take time away, take time away from the negotiation table, whether it is for your job, whether it is about a promotion, whether it is about a relocation, whether it is about a business, whether it's to get the business, it's to extend the business, it's new terms have been introduced that you're not happy with, whatever it is, do not just shoot off and go and make a decision. Go get advice, allow time away from the negotiation table, and then thereafter be able to make a decision. Now, this is a bonus one. This is number 11, but it's a bonus one. Remember, there are always consequences for decisions that we make. And so even initiating this conversation may have consequences for you, may have consequences in terms of opportunities, may have consequences regarding other contracts that you're able to do with them, may have legal consequences for you. Maybe you decide not to go ahead, but it gives the impression that, listen, this person cannot be depended on, and they may initiate something just to safeguard their position. It could have consequences in that, it's a great thing. It might be room for them to review the terms that they have been giving other contractors such as yourself, other employees such as yourself. Maybe it's something they had always done. Maybe it's a contract template they hadn't reviewed for a long time. And so now, you flagging this up gives them room to review blanket, for other people as well. Either way, you're an adult, you entered into something legally binding, and now you're in a situation where you want to review terms. You will do that, but do understand there are consequences, whether they're personal, reputational, legal, for initiating what you're doing, and count those in advance. When you speak to that legal expert, find out what the consequences could be, of course, including reputational consequences in the market, and then choose as to whether or not you're willing to go ahead with them. But do not let the fact that there are consequences make you continue with a situation that is untenable. But like I said at the very beginning, really do review what it is you want out of your career and your business. You need to know what you want out of life before you go poking at, so what can I change? And when I say poking at that, make it seem like it's a bad thing. But let all your decisions stem from the fact that I am very clear now. I wasn't before, but I'm very clear now who I am, where I'm going, and under what engagements that I want to relate with others and do business and offer my services in my job. Therefore, you must already have a clear plan, have a clear vision of where you want to go, and be very specific about what what in your current arrangement you're not happy with, so that you can, make sure to get that reviewed, and also understand there will be consequences. But this is where adulting, being grown up, means counting the cost and choosing whether you're willing to pay it in the very beginning. You enter this contract with your eyes wide open. You enter this contract as an adult, not as a child. And so now follow through on whatever it is that you want reviewed. Follow through on the procedure, and the consequences that may arise from this. They don't always have to be negative. You could have just been the first person who just set precedence on something amazing for all the others that have similar contracts, or it could work, against you. But listen, it's never the end. Okay, this could be one thing, lesson learned, and you move on. But moving forward, let me just say this as I conclude: do not enter anything out of desperation. If you are not clear, if you do not know, get somebody who does. Ask for time away from the negotiation table. Ask for time away so that you can consult somebody. So when you do get into something, you get into something that you would be happy to be involved in, for the next couple of years, for as long as that contract, that agreement subsides. All right. Take care. It's Modesta from Modesta.Africa. Should you need to consult me on anything, please do reach out to me on hello@Modesta.Africa. I am building Africa's leadership, market leadership, that are going to drive our continent's ascent. So whether you're on the continent or in the diaspora, I reach out to you with career and business success strategies that'll have you just have the freedom to choose exactly what you want to invest yourself in to see increased income, influence, and impact. If this moves you, please do share it far and wide. I'm going to have this on YouTube. If you feel like you or somebody else, would benefit from my services, please do look out for me. All right, have an amazing weekend, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye.